Well, greetings, and once again, welcome back to the Insanity. Last time we left off, we had just started making some ullricks up here, which will be used to get more manure, although we might not be in desperate need of manure at this point. And we will also be getting some other nice things from the ullricks. So the good news is that our factory is doing fairly well, I would say. We are not missing any tar, we're not even missing any coal gas. But what we are currently missing is drill heads, which is why we are not getting that much iron ore and stuff. But so in this research we will be doing a couple of different things. First of all, I will be adding a couple of new researches because I think it's time. And we will even postpone the previous researches yet again. I'm starting to wonder how many times I have postponed these researches by now, but the answer is once more. The nickel processing especially will be fairly useful, and this semiconductor doping is for this acetic acid, which we will eventually find some use for. And it's a very cheap research to make, only 45 green science, so that's good. So we have a couple of things to fix before we get back to the ullricks. So let's get started. First off, we shall visit our new seaweed production. Which reminds me that I should be moving this little to-do item. Because I can't really make the distillates in an area where I produce seaweed. If we look at our tar production over the past hour or so, or maybe 10 hours, we can see that even in like the past 2 hours it has skyrocketed, which is really nice to see. But this means, of course, that we will be needing to deal with the overflows. Because we do want this city block of seaweed to continue doing stuff because it's so cheap and doesn't require any input. But if or when the coal gas and tar get backed up, it will stop producing titanium ore and coke, and we don't want that to happen. Right now it is especially the titanium ore that we are looking for. Okay, next stop. We will be visiting the wood processing because there are a few new things that we would like to get from wood processing. And those things are as follows. Let's see how we can make them happen. Phosphate rock. I would like to get phosphate rock from tree seeds. It's not efficient at all whatsoever in any way, but we do need some phosphate rocks for the future. And speaking of needing things, I would like to have a bit of stone bricks, please. How much for an atomizer? Well, you obviously will not tell me. How much for a washer? 30 stone bricks, okay. Should be fairly easy. 26, 28, 29, 30. Thank you very much for your collaboration. Luckily, we are producing stone bricks in other places as well. So please make me an atomizer. Eventually, we will probably want to use even meat for the phosphate rock, and especially this step is very interesting to me because it deals quite a fair amount of phosphate rocks and even some phosphoric acid, but it requires collagen, which requires acetic acid, which is the thing we will soon get access to. Then we need to deal with methanol and stuff, and yeah, you know my feeling. The things just never ends, do they? So, as a quick little setup, we will be getting some phosphate rocks from here very shortly. Stay tuned. And a little red wire where we can tell it that we would like to have some phosphate rocks when it is less than 0, and it will currently be at minus 2000, because this is not a very good recipe. And you might want to have a little recipe here as well. Very well. Holy cow, this burns through our biomass very quickly. I could use some coal or something. Oh, and speaking of things, I have decided actually, well, more or less. I'm not entirely certain about it, but how about we just have a little bit of coke here as well, because why not, essentially. I don't like the way this just burns through all my biomass, so I will be using a slightly better fuel, namely coal. Because this allows me to build some more spaghetti. Woohoo! Or something like that. Okay, soon it will start and use real fuel in here instead. I mean, this is just insane amounts. Okay, let's see, that was that. What is next? We have a couple of provider thresholds to fix. Yeah, that's much better. Thank you for using less of my biomass. So, one reason why we are not getting a lot of drill heads at the moment is that we are lacking aluminum, and quite a bit of it. And the reason for that is that we have this threshold set to 25k, which is quite a lot, so we'll just change it to 5k, which should allow it to perform a request. And we'll do the same thing for solder and for tin, which is almost at 25k actually, and even for lead. And this will not cause any overflow in our requesters, because they are set to request when they are lacking at least 15,000. So, let's see. What's next? Ah, we have a little issue in our old spaghetti land. And the issue is that when the rubber production has sort of come to a standstill. And while I'm in that area, I will probably just ask some robots to continue to clean things up. Because most of the old spaghetti land is no longer used. Well, maybe not most of it, but quite a bit of it. Hello robots, how nice of you to come visit. So this is the rubber production, but it's not producing any rubber because we are missing tar. Because we used to provide tar inside this city block and pipe it throughout the entire mess. But we don't do that anymore. And look at that, we found a useless belt, and look at that, we found useless research. No, not useless research, very good research. But we finished research, which is very nice. So how about we just put this over here and just get rid of these. Let's see. There, yes, excellent, thank you. Do I have a 5k pie tank? I do. Do I have a pump? I don't. Am I talking to myself? I can always blame that I'm talking to my YouTube audience. See, that's how you avoid talking to yourself. So this is rubber and it's tar requester. Thank you very much. And there we have some power, and here we have a shit ton of landfill. We will actually find this very useful. We'll just need to remember that it's there. Okay, so tar will be coming here. Let's see. How shall we spaghetti this? You may just stop that pipe and just get all the fluids you need from this pipe. Thank you very much. Oh, I think we're missing something. We are missing a little tar request here. That can be helpful. So let's bring up the map and deconstruct things. Let's see, can I deconstruct it? I can actually not. I guess that means that I need to re-add that pipe, and then I will deconstruct these pipes, because I'm pretty sure that these lead to nowhere. Oh, and a useless belt. How nice is that? The bad part about deconstructing things here is that you start deconstructing something and then you realize that, oh, this is also not used. So let's deconstruct that. And then you realize that, oh, this is also not used, and then you forgot where you started. I'm quite sure this leads to, yeah, basically nowhere. Just a big tank with no tar in it. Oh, come on, where are you going? Yes, how nice, thank you. This used to be our tar production area once upon a time. That production has now used, and honestly I should probably have started using that recipe for getting tar much earlier. Because it was using the sand. No, the stone. Stone to get tar, and that turned out to be a very good recipe. And hello train station, you are no longer necessary. You have been very helpful throughout the years, both as a requester and as a provider. I was actually considering using you for this task as well, but I realized that it's better to just remove you entirely at this point. And we have a couple of underground belts here that are not used for anything. Some steam that was probably used for some quenching once upon a time. Some water that I don't remember having had here, but apparently we had. And now I'm getting sidetracked, as you can see. Because now I'm starting to remove water pipes. There's the tar again. Thank you. Why are you crossing the rails? Because those rails did not always used to be there. And where do... Oh my, this is where we had something once upon a time. The plastics production, right. Oh, and here we have some syngas that we don't really need, and it's not something we really care about taking care of. And I'm getting very sidetracked because I was planning on doing something entirely different than just cleaning things up in this episode. But it does feel good to clean this place up. Okay. Whoop, that's the wrong button. Let's not use that. Do we have any tar now? We do. Quite a bit. And we are producing rubber again, quite a bit. How has the rubber production looked like the last hour? 10 hours? 50 hours? Oh Jesus, it's been nothing for more than 10 hours. Well, I guess we just haven't used it. And look at this, we have a belt here. Speaking of not being used. Oh, and an ugly, horrible mess throughout by moving from one block to the other. How nice is that? Well, the nice part is about building these is that you get to eventually clean them up. Oh, and of course this continued over here. Nice! Thank you very much. So that's the rubber issue taken care of. Now how about we get back to the Ulrichs? Back to reality or something. Of course, Ulrichs is not the only thing that we will do in this episode. We are planning on getting some other things done as well. Most importantly, zinc processing. So how do I make zinc plates? I can make zinc plates through Do I have access to this recipe? I think I do. I mean, it looked like I had. Yes, I do. Thank you. So this requires molten zinc, of course, which requires heavy oil. And zinc ore. And how do we get zinc ore? We can use blood or soot, but we don't have any soot. So I'm guessing we're going to use blood, although eventually we can use grod seeds and other things. But for now, I guess we're stuck with blood. So very well. I believe we have a little something called an Ulrich factory over here. And I believe these better water barrels can be used in this process. Thank you. Hogs, you shall stay there. Actually, I have some seaweed and some other things as well. I think we're about ready now to continue with the Ulrichs. And they seem to require iron sticks at the moment. That's fine, I guess. So for these Ulrichs, I would also like them to produce some manure, which is what I am planning on setting up here. So this just requires water and Ulrich food. That should be fairly easy. The water can come from over here somewhere-ish. Factory. And how many Ulrichs do we? Yeah, I think that's enough for now. You may stop. Because we will need the caged Ulrichs to other things as well. Did we fill up these fully last time? We did not. Now they are. This is the nice thing about Ulrichs, that they are very quick in getting set up and getting bootstrapped and stuff. Let's see, do we have some Ulrich food? It appears that we do. Ah, darn it. Oh, and I realize why I'm running low on electric poles. It's because I have... those require niobium plates, and I just don't have any niobium. Fill water barrel, please. So the niobium is something else that we will also look into. I would like to have a pump jack. Or where is the closest water source? Okay. We can actually just pipe things. That is usually more efficient than using pump jacks. And by usually I mean always. So here we of course need a splitter to separate manure from the water. That's helpful, isn't it? You don't want to mix those up, that's for sure. Just adding a few water bottles into rotation because we don't have a lot of Ulrichs or a lot of farms, and the distance they need to travel is fairly short, so this should be alright. Why are you not getting in the water barrels? Okay, maybe we should add some more barrels into rotation after all. Here, have some barrels. No. Oh, they need to be filled with water first. How stupid. So this is the exit for the manure. I've heard it being said that I tend to make things a bit spaghetti-ish by just moving things around like this, like providing things back where we start, essentially. And that is that's true. I do that. But I mean, especially now when I just haven't finished building all the train stations required, or even the trains required. So I can't set up a train station over here. But I will think about that in the future to not maybe always have the provider at the same place as the requester. Okay, so we're going to need a slaughterhouse or a couple. And for that we are going to need stone bricks. And for that we are going to need to make a visit to a place. Oh, and we should probably also tell this to actually provide some manure. So now we have 2 places providing manure. 2 places are better than 1. Thank you, robots. Not that we're really missing any manure at this point, but maybe in the oh, god damn it. Maybe in the future we will. So at this time there's mainly 2 things that I will need from the Ulrichs, with possibly more to come in the future. Let's see, where is this? Here we have it. Okay, you have... you're doing fairly well. What was it called again? Slaughterhouse. Ugh. We're going to need titanium plates. Very well, I know a place, I think. So let's hope that it's open. I bet that train is... No, it was not with titanium plates, thank you. Slaughterhouse. So eventually we will also be removing this little rail that goes through the old base, because we no longer need that one. But that's eventually, and eventually is not now. So here you can see we have some nice little Ulrichs just waiting to be slaughtered. And here we have some cages just waiting to be used. Ulrich is my victim, and full render is actually something we will be making use of, in addition to Ulrich bones, because these Ulrich bones gets us 4 bones at a time, which is not that bad at all. Not bad. Quite good actually, if I may say so. So the thing about this Ulrichs thingy, and the full render process especially, is that it will give us a fair amount of items. And I will actually, not yet at least, set any limit for this whatsoever. It will just keep going for as long as it likes. Because this full render Ulrichs, let's see, where can I look that recipe up? I know it's here somewhere. This search is really not optimal. Caged Ulrich, here we have it. So these are the materials that we will get from this process. And I have done a bit of math. I have done a bit of math and concluded that it's better to use the full render process than to get all things individually. So this needs some blood. Sadly, blood cannot be transported in item form, so we just need a special feature for that. Of course, it could be put into a barrel, but those needs to be emptied, and emptying stuff is a bit of a mess, and so on and so on, so we will not be dealing with that. So this will give us bones, meat, skin, lard, guts, cage, brain, and blood. And of course we do very much want to reuse the cage. So that's the first step we need to deal with here. Reusing the cage. And then as for the rest of it, oh dear, of course. I should move this little red wire, I think. So for the rest of it, we will just be providing it. Where is our red wire? There you are. So we will not have any condition on this belt. Instead, that is moved further up. So we have the condition here. And then we will just keep this lane open for a while and just see how much things we get. The reason why we are getting bones in addition to this is because we are missing bones. Because bones is needed in, for example, the advanced casting recipe. So that's it for the Ulrichs. This should give us a fair amount of things. Well, eventually, that is. Not right now. But we could maybe, possibly, look into adding more of these Ulrich corals. Because right now we only have 4 of them. For that we need steel. Hello robots. What do you have for me today? Oh, fast inserters, thank you very much. So I think we have the advanced casting area here, if I'm not mistaken. Well, not advanced casting area, but casting. Thank you very much. So a couple of more Ulrich corals. Oh damn, that titanium, come on! Why is it that I always need titanium? Because I don't have enough of it. Actually, I don't even think that I have any. I'm not requesting it actually. Titanium plates. How about you just give me like 200 something? And it's currently not provided in LTN. But let's see if we can. No, not in LTN, but in the logistics. In the robot logistics. So how about you just give me titanium plates? 200 of them. Oh, and how about you actually give me titanium plates? Thank you. Now the robots will eventually be providing me with the titanium plates as well. So Ulrich coral. Yeah, let's just make it 4. Then see what happens. And then we will get started with zinc processing, which is another new thing. I like making new things. Oh, of course, I didn't think about that part. We will probably need an overflow. I don't like overflow valve. I would like to have a pump. And I'm guessing blood is a fluid and not a gas. It kind of sounds like it. So I will be making a sinkhole, which will be getting some blood when that is above 45,000 to avoid wasting too much. See, now I'm missing titanium here for more cages. It will come eventually, I guess. Hello, big electric pole, you are a little bit in the way. Not a lot, just like a little bit, teeny tiny bit. And now you of course need some Ulrichs. I think we still have some over here. 50 Ulrichs should be more than enough. And you will need a couple of things, of course. You will need food, you will need cages, and you will need water bottles. That means you need 2 belts. As for the materials themselves, we have them over here. And I might need to sneeze. Darn it. Every time. Almost every time, at least. No, please give me some long-handed inserters, would you? Thank you. Then we also need to add some output, of course. How about that? I think we need a couple of more things. Barrels. So that's what I'm planning to fix. Just like a few. 230-ish. Should be enough for a while. Cool. Now for the next problem. Sink. I do need to decide where to have that. And how about we just... Right, we already took a look at how to make this. So if we just input some blood, I guess, to the process at this time, maybe? Do I want to do that, or do I want to produce the sink cores elsewhere? Let's see, how about ingredient input? Let's see if I can figure this out. Sink ore. Oh, damn it. I would like to, let's see, I would like to have 1000 sink ore. And then I would like to know how much blood is 1000. This is not 1000, damn it. Okay, so 750 maybe, 700-ish, something like that. How much blood is that? Okay, so it would actually make sense to produce, or I could of course have a smaller, yeah, let's actually do that. Let's have a smaller threshold for the blood and say that we are providing it as long as it's more than 5000, because it's yeah, 5000 blood creates approximately 1000 zinc ore, or maybe even exactly that. And then we just need to set this up. So we need also to get some heavy oil, and we need some coal. Why do we need coal? Oh, for the atomizer. So we basically need some kind of burning fluid. And then the casting itself will take place in the casting area. Because that's, after all, what casting is for, isn't it? So the question is where to set this up. And I figure that I have a bit of space down here. Or we could actually... yeah, let's do that. Where's my car? Actually, it's probably not there. Oh, there it is. Ugh. Thank you. Go to my parking, please. Because we did find a chest with some landfill in it. And we might have a bit of landfill in the landfill production area. 31k. And we have this landfill over here, close to the rubber. And I will be turning the personal logistics off, or actually I will keep them on, because it's not that much of landfill that we need this time. So I will keep all my items in my inventory. And then try to find a way through this mess. Oh damn it. I need to be careful with those. I don't have too many of those electric poles at the moment. I think this is... oh, come on. Okay, a robot can fix that one. How do I get through this mess? Oh. Look at that, we have a pipe with no fluids in it. It used to contain organic solvent a long time ago. And a part of the reason for why I would like zinc is actually that I would like to have more organic solvent. Now you might wonder, what on earth does organic solvent have to do with zinc? And I will show you. Why is this a thing? I think this steam pipe probably goes somewhere. This pipe does, however, not go anywhere. So we can remove some of this carbon dioxide pipe. At least until here, where we are actually using it. And this steam actually doesn't go anywhere. How nice is that? This steam, however, probably maybe goes somewhere. It goes to some clay production that we don't really need. So we get to remove even more pipes. And belts. And electric poles. And more pipes. And more pipes, and more pipes, and more spaghetti. And you get cleaned up. My god, who designed this mess in the first place? Thank you, robot, for repairing my car, by the way. Okay, you are still used. Very good. So this should be enough for half a city block. Of course well, no, I couldn't remove the whole chest from the start because I did not have room for all the landfill. What kind of mess is this, by the way? Will the mess ever end? I think this is where I had production of engines and laboratory instruments once upon a time. Stop flying everywhere, robots, please. Yeah, let's just remove these. Hopefully no one is depending on these poor electric poles. And if you are, too bad for you. You probably aren't. 100 onions, sure, I'll grab them. So I know it might sound or look crazy that I'm cleaning up my spaghetti land. Oh, damn, this is nice. But I'm still not rebuilding anything on the spaghetti land. And the reason behind that is because I would like this to be cleaner, essentially. Because even though I'm cleaning things up, there's still like a lot of mess spread all over the place, as you can see. And in order for me to rebuild anything here, I would not like to have anything, essentially, in this area. How many belts have you produced me? 4050 times 2, of course. You have done a good job. Thank you for your service. Not enough space. Burner mining drill? Seriously? How did that get there? I've never used a burning mining drill like this whole time. Why? What? How? Where? I don't know. Okay, where was I? Right, so zinc processing. Let's ignore these robots for now. And see if I can avoid getting hit by a train with a car full of landfill. Oh, come on. Thank you. I only said something about that train hitting me. I never said anything about me hitting power poles and things. Red lights is an indication that the rails are dangerous. Ah, finally. Empty space. Everywhere besides my inventory, that is. So I have decided, well, I am actually kind of deciding right now. I had 3 different places in mind for this, but this is where we will put it. I have decided just now that this is where we will have the zinc processing. And now I am also deciding that we will have a swimming pool. It's always helpful to have some water. Just increasing the size a bit. Oh, and all this reminds me actually that I will need to use landfill somewhere else as well, which I will do as I'm just out running around anyway. Because soon we will need to start with something else. Something which is very new and will open a lot of possibilities. So we might just as well prepare a little bit for that. Not by reserving a lot of space, actually, but by reserving some important space. Because we are going to need rare earth processing, and it just so happens that we have some rare earth ore over here. So I will need to build some rails and things to that area. And I think we need to put this exactly around here-ish. So we need some space just for a train station, we need an intersection. So if I'm not mistaken, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and intersection. And then we have we'll have to do some shenanigans, of course, like we always do. And then we basically just need to have a train station here somewhere. Can we maybe do some... How big is this thing? Not very big, actually. Can we mine this thing? Rare earth extractor. Yes, please. That's very much what I would like. So yeah, I know I said that we were going to deal with zinc processing, but now we're just going to set up this little mine at least to get some, well, mostly to reserve the space. So how about you output over there, and then we can... Oh, this is pretty good actually. This will work. That makes sense. Oh, I can make big electric power poles. How nice. Why haven't anyone told me that? Because I have some niobium on me. That's great. Thank you, autosave, for saving directly when I wanted to do something else. So I will just be finishing one of these. Because it is pretty important that we need to have like an entrance and an exit for a train to go this way. As for the exit, I'm just not entirely sure yet, but I guess that for now maybe we can just... Because I don't think I have enough landfill to do things like properly, so what I will be doing is shenanigans. Something. So we need to go back here. Which we should be able to do now. Thank you. More electric poles, please. And not to forget, radar in the intersection. Ouch. Oh, darn it. Placing them there all the time is quite boring, actually. So I will just build some landfill above all this. Just to have some space to put electric poles. Thank you. Now the question is, are you mining anything? Waiting for space in destination. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. How about I tell you that you have space in the destination? I still actually have quite a bit of landfill, so I could just finish everything, I think. This will be a PyBlock multi-provider station. And you will just, for the moment at least, be producing rare earth ores. You might wonder, what about like other ways to get rare earth ores? Well, I'll tell you that there are ways. So how about we check into rare earth? I think rare earth oxides is the thing that we want. Tin rare earth alloy. Okay, you need rare earth oxides. Great. So give me some of these, which requires... Here we have some choices, it seems, and I think I will go for something that is... I don't have a lot of cyanic acid, even though some extra chromium would be nice. This gives me 10 rare earth concentrate, this gives 20, this gives 20. Sulfuric acid is not too much of a problem, so let's go with that. Rare earth slurry. Oh, and this will yield some uranium ore. That's interesting. Rare earth mud from rare earth dust, rare earth dust. 10 to 250, 3 to 100. 3 to 100 is not that bad actually. And I am planning on fixing the organic solvent issue, so let's go with this. So this will produce rare earth ores. So if we look, or well, this requires rare earth ores. And if we look at this, we have another option here, which is not something we have access to at this point. And this requires tiburatyl phosphate, and this requires perfluorochloral, and this requires N-butanol, and this requires propene, and this requires... I was about to say, is that it? I thought it was harder than this. And here we have the phosphate rock, which is something we are now providing to LTN. I'm not sure if we have any propane. Maybe we don't. I don't think we do. So lead plates and some syngas and some steam. So this is like a fairly complex process, as you can see, to get rare earth ore. So how about we just don't do that complicated process and just mine the ore instead? That sounds like a good idea to me. Don't you think? Ta-da! Rare earth ores. How about that? Now we just need to finish the rails for this. Oh, actually, since I do have more landfill, how about we just use some more landfill? Maybe we can actually make proper intersections. That's a lot better, isn't it? Cool. Hello, seaweed area. I still don't regret building you. Something that I do kind of regret, however, is to not have placed more roboports around. Oh, come on. Can you just move, like, align at the top of inventory things? Thank you. So there's still a fair amount of places that we need to have some coverage here. And now I'm not entirely sure about where to put these things, which means that we will have to drive around and place them and continue as we go. So much for the zinc processing, huh? Oh right, I don't have a lot of electric poles. Yes, I knew you could connect somewhere. How about you give me more electric poles? Luckily, they just require one niobium plate each, which is fairly cheap. Will we have any issues placing things here? Nope. Oh, come on. Thank you. Hard to walk here, or rather hard to drive, so... come on. I knew this would happen. Because this always happens. So the good news about this is that we are increasing our roboport coverage. That's something we should have done a long time ago, don't you think? Because we still have some rails that are not placed, and so on and so on. Yeah, okay. That's something at least, but we still have a lot more to place. Where is my car? There it is. I think we have a little time still to just kind of sort of start designing at least this new process. Advanced foundry, hydroclassifier, ball mill, impact crusher. I think that's fine. I think we have access to all these things. Not a problem. Ah! Jesus, okay, sorry Seaweed for dealing that much amount of damage to you. At least you repair very quickly. So obviously we need some more rails here as well. I would maybe like to replace this at some point, but I see that this is currently using this blueprint. So let's continue using that blueprint for a little while longer here. So please have a train station. I think we will need to have that's 1, 2, and 3 train stations for requesting things. One of them is an item requester. The others are fluid requesters. 1 and 2. And then we'll wait actually with putting out the fluid provider. No, the item provider. The fluid provider. Because we are going to provide molten zinc. Of course. Of course. So let's see. Zinc processing. This will be a requester for blood, I guess. And this should just have a bit of blood in it. I will not be setting it to 20 or 30,000 as I usually do. I will be just setting it just to 20,000. With the reasoning that there might be better places for the blood to go eventually. And look at that, we're getting some blood from the OG products. This is both good and bad. It's good because at least we're getting something. It's bad because the OGs will now start producing blood as well, in addition to all the other things the OGs are producing. Because it will try to fill that up again. So we need to have some heavy oil as well. And then we need to have some items. And by some items, I probably mean a fair bit of items. Like iron sticks and that's it actually. Because limestone we will be producing locally and the casting will not take place here. So that's nice. Iron stick. Not too much probably. And limestone we will produce here. And of course we need some kind of burning things. What is it that I usually use? Or rather, shall we check maybe what we have in store? Okay, we still have coal dust in store, and I kinda like coal dust, so let's use coal dust. Not one, minus 1,500. And what was it we should request here? Heavy oil. Not too much once again. Yeah, we all have already placed that one. Thank you. So we will need an atomizer to convert the blood into ores. Then we will need a ball mill. And then we will need an impact crusher. And then we will need a hydroclassifier. Which will require some more iron. And then an advanced foundry that we have already. Okay, cool. This actually doesn't seem like too much. I'm kind of surprised. So let's begin here somewhere. Can you just sort of give me a little bit of iron plates, maybe? Because I need iron plates to build my thing. Please give me coal dust and give me iron sticks. And please have some blood. And why are you taking so long? Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It just doesn't have any way to get here. Why did I not think about that? I believe it is because I'm stupid. That's kinda usually the reason. And I need more... I need more rails. Where am I? There I am. So in that case you may actually kind of... No, okay, that's for coal dust, fine. But please ignore these plates. The coal dust is very welcome to come here. As long as you just ignore the plates, because I will go get them myself. There's our fabulous train. Please go to the mall, where we hopefully have a bit of rails. And then I guess we will just finish the zinc processing in the next episode. Let's see, do we have any rails? I'm pretty sure that we do. And we do. Do we have any iron? A bit. So a hydroclassifier. Thank you. Just what I wanted. Let's see, how was it that I got there? Like that. Then eventually we would need to fix this area as well, but that's no hurry. We can deal with that once we start with the rare earth processing. Even though we might get the same problem then as we have now, That is that we have just that we are requesting things without actually having a train station for it or having a connection between the train stations. That will probably happen again, I suspect. Let's see, how far away can we... No, let's not go too far. Cool. Uh-oh, 7 entities are missing the material for construction. I don't like that. Get out. Thank you. There's the blood that we so desperately needed. And here is the coal. Oh, 20 zinc ore. Okay, holy wow. And then we will need to have a ball mill somewhere over here-ish. The impact crusher will be over here somewhere. The next thingy will be over there, and the advanced foundry will be over here. And then we'll just need some soil extractors to get the limestone needed. It doesn't look like we need many of them though, because we need a lot more zinc ore than we need limestone. Oh, and then we do need some water for this. If only someone was kind enough to leave us a little water pool. Thank you very much, someone. So, we have prepared at least for this. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next episode when we will finish this.